So here we are making the first step for the demo clay oven, which will be over there under the cherry tree. And Simon is stomping together the clay,
which doesn't want to stick together,
and sand mixture. So he's rolling it into each other as a loaf. And then stomping it. So there seems to be more rolling going on than stomping.
because it isn't sticking together.
Okay.
The stomping is the fun part.
Okay, so we're ready for the next step. So here we have the floor. I'm going to put the last bit in. So it's a floor of twigs for reinforcement and just clay and sand. 2 parts sand, 1 part clay.
And,
and then we'll put
phenomenal.
and then we're going to put the sacrificial board on top.
Yeah.
And then we'll build around that. Yep, don't put it too far back because the back is in a circle. So I'll pull it forward a little bit. Give it enough, like 3 inches for the back wall. Yep, perfect.
And then the cat.
Now we are making the inner frame with bendy twigs, in our case willow twigs, because the willows needed to be pruned. And we're gonna put them like a little beehive, so the front will be shorter and the middle will be higher and the back will be shorter. And we already found that you don't want the ends to be too thin because then they don't stick. So bendy willow is good for everything. We got the wicker basket. This is the inside. It's actually surprisingly sturdy. We'll see how it actually works. I don't know. We've got the dope there. We'll stick it on here and we'll see what happens. So now we put the straw, dry straw and dry horse manure in with the clay, so it's getting an actual wattle and daub. And we are both getting out of breath. This is hard work. So next up, sticking it all to the man, huh? Sticking it all to the cage. We need a break. Okay, so the thing is made. I'm very doubtful. We used all the clay we had, so now we're making a tiny little fire in the front. At least we're pretending to make a tiny little fire in the front. And then we'll dry it out over the rest of the day. Don't use grass, but also use the twiggies intermixed.
I know.
So the idea is to have a small fire in the front to slowly dry it out. But a small fire so it doesn't catch the wicker frame that is on the inside. So we don't want to burn that quite yet.
Oh, so it folds itself open.
And it's getting dry. Drier by the minute. Well, hour. Very curious.
He did say.
Got some extra wood. Ooh, look at it go.
The video that we got this off did say that it took, what, 12 hours for him?
Yeah, what was it? 6 to 12 hours? 8 to 12 hours? Something like that. So we'll just slowly bake it from the inside until tomorrow. And then we'll bake bread. So it's been several hours later, evening. And we burned through the sacrificial floorboard, which was very useful in pulling the fire in and out. So either I have to put in a new one, or I'm just gonna, I don't know, play with what I have. Fire can get a little high, but every time I push the fire in, it deprives of oxygen. So we kind of keep moving it in and out, in and out, in and out. And we put a little roof on, of 2 pieces of roofing panel, because it's gonna rain tonight. And even when it's dry, it is not baked, it is not vitrified, so it will dissolve and rain away. So you don't want it to get running wet. So I'll just keep the fire burning for tonight until we go to bed. And when you look closer, you can see that about half of it is starting to dry out. So it's actually working. The top is really, really hard. We had a little bit of slumping up front, so the door is not even anymore. But it happened all the way at the beginning. There's a wee bit of a crack in the front, which is not unusual either. But that's about it. Everything else looks good. We are not expecting this to be uncracked. This is a trial to make a bread oven at Pennsic, which I don't really need to figure out because people already know how to do that, because I see them do that every year. But I always miss when they do it, so I see the pile of ingredients and then next time I walk by there's an oven making bread. So this is my finding the missing links. And keep the kid busy because school is at home now. And he's been really enjoying this one. So it's the next day. It had its last fire at around 11 p.m. or something, and it burned slowly down. And the whole thing is dry, even though it rained overnight, which is why it has a little house. And it's hard. It's still upright. There's minor cracking, but that's about it. It's mostly minor. Some here, which I kind of expected. There's a crack in the middle of the floor. That's kind of expected too. It looks like the clay is actually turning color, which means it's really getting hot. This clay starts out gray, but then when it vitrifies, it turns red. So it's kind of a nice indication. It gets a little greenish in between. So we're gonna see if we can make a little door for it, which will be very basic, because we didn't do a good job on the door because we ran out of clay, sort of. And then we'll fire it up, get a nice bed of coals in, and bake our first bread. I'm very curious. There we go.
One bread in the bread oven. And the door over it. And we let it sit for what, 15 minutes?
15 minutes. So we put in our first breads. And the very first one did not come out so well. It was black and not totally done. But the second is actually pretty good.
Let's hope that it's done right.
Yep, let's hope that it's done right. And it smells phenomenal.